Are you seeking a training schedule for sub 3 hour marathon mastery? If you are, I welcome you to this video. I hope that some of the tips and strategies that you're going to be learning in this video will help you out. My name is Nate Pennington. I'm the founder of RunDreamAchieve.com. I've been competing for the past 28 years, and I hold a current marathon best of 2 hours, 19 minutes, and 35 seconds. I have a course on RunDreamAchieve.com called the Sub 3 Hour Marathon Pro, which I created for athletes such as yourself, that is specifically built for athletes that are trying to break 2 hours or 3 hours for the marathon. They want to run 2 hours 59 minutes or faster, and they want to have that coveted 2 before their marathon personal best. What I cover in those videos, it's not just a cookie cutter sub 3 hour marathon training schedule that you can find online. What I wanted to do is create a video tutorial course that covers a vast array of topics that will help the athlete not only train smarter, but get the results they're seeking faster. You know, we have to get beyond, if you're trying to break a 3 hour marathon, you're going to certainly have to think outside the box. This is a very, very fast marathon time that only a few athletes around the world achieve each year. You know, I know how difficult breaking a 3 hour marathon is. You know, I didn't just break 2 hours and 20 minutes for the marathon distance. So, you know, I had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of ebbs and flows in my own preparation. But I do know that to break a 3 hour marathon, you need to hold 6 minutes and 52 seconds for 26.2 miles. There are no breaks in the marathon distance, so it doesn't matter you were on 6:52 mile pace for 15 miles of the race. You know, it's where were you at the finish line. You know, we get very caught up in telling our friends and family or posting on social media, well, I was on pace for 20 miles, but the but doesn't get you the results you're seeking. You know, it's just excuses at the end of the day. I mean, it's either you broke 3 hours or you didn't. You know, there are a lot of, you have to definitely take and learn from the mistakes that you're making in your training, and celebrate the successes and learn from the mistakes that you've had in your own preparation. I believe to break a 3 hour marathon, you need to start running your long runs at a faster clip. That's one of the reasons why I was able to improve my marathon from 2 hours and 43 minutes and 36 seconds to 2 hours, 19 minutes and 35 seconds. I was running too many miles too slow. You know, for me personally, I was trying to break 2 hours and 22 minutes. You know, that was my goal. And I also respect anybody that's trying to break a 3 hour marathon, because once you're under 3 hours, you're really getting closer to that elite level that only a few athletes each year achieve. You know, so what we want to do in 2020, my goal for you is to get you to improve your body's lactate tolerance. You know, you do that by running for longer periods of time at your anaerobic threshold. Okay, so if in the past you've done tempo runs for your marathons at maybe say 5 to 8 miles in length, you need to extend it out. Get it out to between 9 to 15 miles in length. That's what I did, and definitely improved and helped me dramatically to eventually run the marathon distance at 5 minutes and 19 second mile pace for 26 miles. So our paces are different, but the training that you need to be doing should mimic what the best athletes are doing on a regular basis. So a big problem why a lot of talented athletes don't break the 3 hour marathon barrier is because they're not training sufficiently enough and long enough at their anaerobic threshold, as well as training adequately at their VO2 max. So your VO2 max is your maximum oxygen uptake. It's the fastest you can possibly run. You're running so fast that your body can't clear lactic acid faster than it's building up. So we can only train anywhere from a few seconds to a few minutes at this intensity. So, but the focus on training at your VO2 max and doing one VO2 max workout per week and extending the amount of distance and time duration that we're spending at our anaerobic threshold, that will make race pace that sub 3 hour marathon race pace, feel more in control. And that's the overall goal that we want. You want to run as efficiently as you possibly can over 26.2 miles. And again, you have to average 6:52 mile pace. That means that you're going to be running a lot of your miles at 6:20s, 6:30s, 6:40s. There are going to be a lot of variations, 7:0s. You have to run, you have to be able to average that mile pace. So again, we want to train below 6-minute mile pace. You know, you want to be doing mile repeats on the track. You want to be doing 2-mile repetitions closer to 6-minute mile pace or under 6-minute mile pace. You want to do those VO2 max workouts where you're doing repeat quarters on the track, repeat 800s on the track at closer to 5-minute mile pace. Again, this is the combination. This is what we want to do. If you want to become a sub 3 hour marathon, you have to get really comfortable training well below 6 minutes and 52-second mile pace. This is one of the biggest problems that a lot of athletes are having. It's not that they don't have the talent. It's not that they're not hard workers. It's because they haven't trained sufficiently and adequately enough and for long enough periods of time at their anaerobic threshold. Again, it goes back to how efficient can you clear lactic acid while you're racing. You know, and another thing that I talk about in the course, and I go very in depth in the sub 3 hour marathon pro course, is how can we teach our body to burn fat rather than carbohydrate at race pace. You know, a big problem why a lot of athletes aren't able to break that 3 hour marathon barrier. It's like I said, it's not because they don't have the talent or they don't have the work ethic to do it. It's because they run out of glycogen and they run out of carbohydrates in the race. You know, we only have 1,800 calories of glycogen storage in our bodies at any given time. And we all know that most oftentimes athletes experience the so-called wall that we've heard about over the years at around mile 18, around 17 or mile 18. And, you know, we burn 100 calories every single mile. And right around 1,800 calories, once we run out of that glycogen storage, we start burning fat instead and start slowing down. So how can we conserve carbohydrate and burn fat at race pace? This is something that a lot of athletes really need to get the mindset revolved around training at paces that are much, much faster than 6:52 mile pace. So they're burning fat at race pace, and they're running more efficiently, and they're conserving that glycogen storage and those carbohydrates for the latter stages of the race, the last 10K, where the last 3 miles of the marathon, where we really need to be picking up the pace rather than slowing down like our competition. So again, you already know as a highly competitive athlete, if you're seeking to break a 3 hour marathon already, it already tells me that you've already accomplished quite a bit in the sport. You're already a very advanced athlete. Some of the topics and some of the fundamentals that I'm talking about in this short video, you probably already know a lot about. But there are some things I guarantee you that you probably have never heard about. And one, and a huge tip I'm sharing with you that I talk about in the course, is studying what glutathione is. It's the body's master antioxidant. Every cell of the human body produces it. And yet most distance runners that I've come across over the years have never heard anything about it. If you type in PubMed, P-U-B-M-E-D, that's the internet's authority on medical peer-reviewed articles, and you'll find over 145,000 medical peer-reviewed articles written about glutathione. Again, every cell of the human body produces it. Its main role in the body is to detoxify the body of free radicals, heavy metals, and oxidative stress. And all of this occurs when we are doing those hard anaerobic workouts. We're out doing tempo runs, we're doing track workouts, and we start running low on this. And a lot of athletes don't know why they're fatigued. They don't know why they're having issues sustaining the pace over the entire distance of their chosen event. And a big reason is they're running low, either very low on iron or ferritin, which is a part of iron, or glutathione. And even the reason why I'm telling you this is because I ran for about 20 years and never got a blood test. It wasn't until I started being coached by a Boston Marathon champion when I was a part of the U.S. Army World Class Athlete Program that I went and got a blood test and found out that I was anemic. I was basically running extremely low on iron. I had very low glutathione levels as well. So I'm going to leave a link below this video on in terms of you learning about a company called Max International. They're called the glutathione company for a reason. They've been at the top of glutathione research for, I don't know, since 2007. But there are glutathione supplements that you can take so your body maintains healthy, optimal levels of glutathione. And again, if you run low on any type of nutrient or an antioxidant like glutathione, it doesn't matter the amount of hard work and effort that you're putting into breaking this 3-hour marathon. You're going to have a very difficult time of doing it. And again, you're going after a very fast, elite time. And what I want for you is to train smarter so you get the results you're seeking, rather than continuing to work hard and putting in heavy mileage and still not getting a result. You know, you can choose to use an axe to cut down a tree, or you can use a chainsaw. You know, one's very efficient, one is going to get you results much faster, and one's going to require a great deal of sweat equity and take you much, much longer to get that tree knocked down. So, you know, in terms of what you need to do to break a 3-hour marathon, you need to, focus on that hydration, focus on your hydration, start practicing taking in more calories and more fluids in training. You need to focus on your nutrition. What are you running low on? If you're fatigued or you're having issues sustaining the pace over a long period of time, are you running low on a nutrient or an antioxidant? Quick way to find out, get a blood test. Find out where your ferritin levels are, your iron levels are, and your glutathione levels are. These are critical that you maintain healthy, optimal levels of iron and glutathione as you're leading into your sub 3-hour marathon attempt in 2020. Another great advice, I mean, a lot of this is self-explanatory, but I'm just talking off the cuff here. Find a course that's going to give you the best chance of breaking the 3-hour marathon. My recommendations: the Berlin Marathon, Rotterdam, Paris, Columbus, Chicago, Indianapolis, the monumental Indianapolis. I ran my second fastest marathon time in 2011 in Indianapolis at the monumental Indianapolis Marathon in 2:26:42, and you know, it's a super flat course, great weather. You know, Chicago, if you choose Chicago, some years you may get really cold weather, some years you may get really hot weather. What I've learned with the Indianapolis Marathon Monumental, most of the time it's usually held in the first to second week in November. It's always like 35 to 45 degrees at the start. Perfect weather conditions. California International Marathon, it's a net downhill course, but there's a lot of hills on it, so I wouldn't really recommend that one. That's where I ran my 2:19:35 at, my PR. Of all the courses I thought I would break 2 hours and 20 minutes on, it would not have been Sim. You know, even Boston, it's another net downhill course. It's even more net downhill than Sim. I never would have dreamt of breaking 2:20 on the Sim course, because it's flat, there's downhills, there's more up, and there's uphill sections. It's not a flat, just a straight flat course like Rotterdam. Rotterdam is actually below sea level. So if you want to go after a sub 3-hour marathon, definitely consider Rotterdam, especially if you're not in the United States of America and you're in Europe. Definitely go to Rotterdam. Paris is another great course. London's a great course, but there's a little bit, there's more turns on that course as compared to a course like Chicago or monumental Indianapolis. But definitely find a course that's going to best suit you to break the sub 3-hour marathon. There are no such thing as fast courses. Okay, there is a such thing as a fast, well-prepared athlete. You know, it doesn't matter if you go out and you haven't put in the heavy work, you haven't done your homework to break 3 hours. You can go to Chicago or Rotterdam or any other flat course, and it's not going to get the job done. You've got to have trained at that goal race pace that you're seeking, which is 6:52 mile pace. What do you need to do to make 6:52 mile pace feel easy? If you look at all the top marathon athletes around the world, they always make it look easy because they've trained so fast in training, well below their goal race pace, that they're able to sustain, they're able to slow down less than their competition. They've gotten very, very good at training their body to clear lactic acid. and to be able to handle lactic acid throughout the race, regardless of the pace. They're able to make those surges. They're able to make those changes in pace that their competition either has to react to or succumb to. So that's kind of where you really need to be thinking to break a 3-hour marathon. Yes, you do need a level of talent to be able to do it. You do need to be able to run very well at the 5K to half marathon distance. The faster you can get your 5K to half marathon personal best, the better. You know, if you can run a half marathon around 115 to 120, it's going to make you very, very strong for breaking a 3-hour marathon. Even if you got it down to like 135 to 130, it's going to make you strong. Again, you have to be able to sustain 6:52 mile pace, not for 13 miles, which is a 130 half, but you need to double it. So really getting closer down toward 115 to 120 is kind of where you really need to be. 115 to 125 for the half marathon to be able to break a 3-hour marathon. So continue to develop your speed. Work on doing training at closer to 5-minute mile pace on the track, and that's more at your VO2 max effort, where you're doing repeat miles on the track or repeat quarters on the track at around 115 to 118. Doing repeat miles on the track at closer to a 6-minute mile pace, or 550 to 6-minute mile pace for your repetitions. Again, you're training a minute, close to a minute or over a minute faster than your goal race pace for 26.2 miles. So again, there's no breaks, there's no rest in the marathon distance. So you need to be visualizing, seeing yourself getting across the finish line with 2 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds on that clock. When I was training for the marathon, trying to break 2 hours and 22 minutes, I was a 2:43 marathoner. All I knew was I had run 51:53 for 10 miles, but I had not gotten the marathon distance right yet at that time. And to go from being able to hold 6:14 mile pace, which was 2:43 marathon, to 5:25 mile pace, which is 2 hours 22 minutes flat, I knew I had to do things differently. I had to visualize myself breaking that time first in my mind before I was certain that I was able to do it in reality. I had to do the workouts. I had to go out and start running my long runs at faster paces rather than just going out and running 16 to 22 miles at 7-minute mile pace or 6:30 mile pace. You know, that made me very strong endurance wise, but I didn't have the stamina and I did not have the strength to run 26.2 miles at 5:25 mile pace. So the big difference that I started making, that I teach in the sub 3-hour marathon course, is running the long run at a faster pace. I believe at running it closer to 85 to 87% of your maximum heart rate, which is closer to around 160 beats per minute, depending on your age and where you're currently at in your fitness, and then varying up the pace. You know, what some of the examples I would do is I would do like a 20-mile run, where every 4th mile I would drop a 5-minute mile right in the middle of my long runs, and then just go back into 160 pace. You know, which when I was very, very fit, I would be running anywhere from 530s to 550s per mile at altitude. So you have to be very cognizant of your preparation and being extremely patient with yourself, because you don't just jump into those types of long runs immediately. You have to think progression. Know that to break a sub 3-hour marathon, it may take a few months, it may take a year, or it may take even longer than a year. Our goal in the sub 3-hour marathon pro is to get you to a sub 3-hour marathon in 16 weeks. It's not just a cookie cutter 3-hour marathon training schedule that you can find online. Okay, this is more than just a training schedule. It's a tutorial course which we cover specific topics in video where I'm coaching you, and as well as at the very end is a 16-week sub 3-hour marathon training schedule that is specifically built for the athlete that's trying to run 2 hours and 59 minutes for the marathon distance or faster, and getting you to a point where you can sustain 6:52 mile pace over the entire distance, and being able to handle those 6:15 miles or those 6:20 mile splits in the middle of the race and being able to react to it, and to be able to negative split, to be able to run that second half of the marathon faster than the first half. And again, we want to focus in on what are the best marathoners doing to make the marathon look so easy. That's what we want to focus on. I'm teaching you all the strategies and tactics that I learned from three of the world's top distance running coaches. One was Lisa Rainsberger. She coached me when I was at the U.S. Army World Class Athlete Program. She's the 1985 Boston Marathon champion. Jack Hazen, he was my collegiate coach. He's been at Malone University for 52 years. One of the world's top distance running coaches. Dr. Joe Vigil, he's one of my mentors early on in my career, all the way up to even now. I mean, everything that I've done in the sport. I made 2 World Armed Forces cross-country teams, earned a national standard, a national ranking in the marathon distance. When I ran 2:19:35 in 2007, there were only 62 men in the United States of America, a country of 350 million people, that broke 2 hours and 20 minutes in 2007. So I learned what I've learned what I teach in the sub 3 hour marathon pro course from these world-class coaches. I hope this video has been helpful. It's just an overview, brief overview of what I teach in the sub 3 hour marathon pro course. And if you have a specific question, something that has really given you an issue with a marathon and breaking 3 hours, leave me a comment below, or let me know what other issue you're having, something, maybe a topic you want me to cover in my next video, and let me know below in the comment section. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate your support. If you're brand new to the channel, I encourage you to subscribe and click on the bell icon, so when I make new videos, you'll be notified of that. So I appreciate your attention to this particular video. I know you can break 3 hours in 2020, but you're gonna have to, like I said, you're gonna have to change up and mix up what you're doing in training, much more often at goal race pace and below goal race pace. So again, we want to be run as efficiently as possible over 26.2 miles, and to be able to make the changes in pace that our competitors are not going to be ready to react to. Okay, so I hope this video has been helpful to you guys, and I appreciate your attention. I'll talk to you guys in the next video.